welcome to Class Consciousness. This is Enomis, and I have a special daring guest, and Shorti.
Thank you. Hey, y'all.
Hey everyone. So today's episode is What is Love? And I really wanted her to come out to let you guys know about her upcoming song as well. She also raps and she's gonna tell you the tea on that.
So that snippet is my new song, Ball in Love. Um, I got a few joints about love. You know, I kind of talk about a lot of topics, but that's one I just wanted to feature in today. Just basically about focusing on um, being the best you can be with your partner, avoiding all the negativity as much as possible, and just focusing on the prize. Other than that, yeah, it's coming out within a couple of months. It's actually just a filler. So just be looking out for a new project. I have new singles coming out late February. So keep an eye out for that.
Yes. And you can also follow her on her Instagram, YouTube, and it will be posted come the date.
Okay. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Twitch. And of course, please add me on your favorite streaming platform.
Yes. And it inspired me to bring her out for today's episode because we just want to talk about what is love and how we see it in our lives today. And that brings us to our first question. What is love languages versus toxic traits? So we're gonna do the first half first. And my question to Yoshi is, what is a love language you could make if you could pick your own?
Oh, that's a good question. I would think it's interesting. I would think that communication in itself to me would be a love language. Um, it's just interesting because it's a love language, so of course it's all forms of communication. But other than that, it's just like more so of having like an actual understanding with a person. I think that's a significant thing for me. I love to be understood by somebody that I'm with, and I want to understand them as much as I can. So I feel like that in itself doesn't necessarily fit exactly with all the other ones. So that's why I feel like that kind of stands out a bit. If I
Yeah.
could make up my own, yeah.
No, I totally feel that because if you can't communicate, that causes a lot of arguments. I know it causes attitude for me if we being real. Like,
Right.
if you can't tell me what you want, like, what are we doing?
Exactly. That's why when you said the whole, love languages versus toxic traits, it's like, to me, it is the difference is the communication. That's what I feel like the difference is. I feel like with love languages is like just like in the name, it's a language. It's usually reciprocated, so it's usually if you like gifts, you like to receive them. You usually like to give them too. If you like words of affirmation, you usually like to give them and receive them. So with love languages, it's more so positive and reciprocated, and I feel like toxic traits are more so a one-way thing, whether it's you giving it or you receiving it. It's usually like a toxic thing. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's just one way I look at it. I think, like per example, with the toxic thing, like maybe you do too much for people, right? And you're always giving, you're always giving. Like everybody else is happy with you, and this is what you naturally do, but you're not feeding into yourself. So that's a toxic trait. Or maybe you're abusive. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're actually dishing out the toxicity. So you cause pain, you give pain, and of course we know why that's obviously not a healthy balance. So yeah, that's what I think those differences is. That's what really stands out to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Love your
Thank
insight, girl. You know, I,
you.
I love these conversations because, like, you brought up a few of the love languages. For those at home, I just want to highlight a few. So there is physical touch, which involves, physical expression amongst you and whoever you may love. That could be a high five. Oh, thank you. That could be a hug. And then we also have words of affirmation. That's just like giving someone encouraging feedback or motivating them or telling them that you're very proud of whatever they got going on.
You're a wonderful host, Simone.
Oh,
Yeah.
That make me
Enomis.
blush. Yes, yes. My name at home is Simone, dear friend of mine. But I also go by Enomis. Y'all know that. And then we also have quality time. Like I love spending time with my friends. We kick it
Period.
outside of business too because that's what we're all about here. Quality time is just spending time with those you love, doing an activity or whatever it may be. Then we also have acts of service. Acts of service is like, okay, if you know your partner or your mom doesn't like doing the dishes, right? They're at work, they're busy, and you take upon yourself to do it for them before they get home. That is acts of service. Doing things for someone that you know that they will appreciate by actually physically doing it for them. And then we also have receiving gifts. That could be teddy bears, that could be money. Um, it could be any type of gifts, even if it's like a poetry song that you wrote for someone. It's some type of small gift, big or large, just to show or represent your love for someone as well. Um, so that are just some of the more known love languages, so you guys will know at home, and I hope that you touch upon as well.
Okay, that's important. People
Yes.
always like for some reason they like search for relationships. They want them so bad, and like they never even consider like what this person that they seeking out, like what they love language is. They never
Yeah.
even try to understand that, and I feel like that's just an odd thing. Like
Hmm.
people so focused on like what can you bring to the table. Like why
Yeah.
don't you see what people want to eat first, and then bring that. Like because if I'm bringing potato salad with raisins in it, and I know you don't want none. You know, don't nobody want potato salad with
Not my
raisins.
taste
I put my
buds.
love into it, but they don't want it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you just gotta understand what a person actually needs
Hmm.
and see if you can even give that to them. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? If you want to give that to them. I feel like even the term love language is a perfect term just because it's a language. If me and you speak in different languages, we're not gonna get nowhere. If you
Yeah.
speak in French and I'm speaking Spanish, we ain't gonna have no type of productivity in this conversation. If anything, we're just gonna get frustrated. So
Yeah.
it's the same with love languages. If I'm mine is acts of service and yours is words of affirmation. And not saying we can't have different love languages, we can, but
Cater to them.
you gotta cater to it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an active service bone in you, then I can what can we do? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel like that communication is just so important.
Yes. We'll be adding that to our own love languages.
Right.
Brought to you by your Shorti.
Period.
And then also, I love that you brought up toxic traits too. I do want to highlight that sometimes we don't know or we may forget to look in a mirror,
Yes.
which is part of self growth. It's not easy, but it's part of self growth and being aware of our own personalities, our traits. So I wanted to highlight some toxic traits. Sometimes that could be like being avoidant with your partner, like that could be
Mhm.
running away from serious conversations, or just not wanting to talk and just excluding yourself completely. Another toxic trait could be um, being overly possessive. A lot of times, ladies feel like that could be a toxic trait coming from a partner, whether that's trying to control how that person or guy is dressing when they
Mhm.
go out, or if that's like preventing them from doing business event because they don't like something, or that could also be a toxic trait. Another thing that I want to highlight is not knowing necessarily all trauma like responses.
Mhm.
My opinion on
Yes.
that, like something sometimes we could do trauma dumping on
Yes.
people and we not be aware of it.
Mhm.
That is also a toxic trait. Like making sure you communicate that safe space with someone before just pouring everything onto them
Mhm.
is important. Another toxic trait, it could be just physical.
You just gave me flashbacks, girl.
Man, we being real.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And we don't want people to not know that that's something that isn't a toxic trait, because it is.
Right.
We don't want to put our hands on each other or anything of that nature. Those are just a few toxic traits I want to highlight today. And no one's perfect.
Right.
We all go through our own differences or realizing what is normal, or maybe we grew up in it. But that can be toxic, and we just want to make sure that we are aware of it.
And a lot of people, I think, these days are like, a lot of us are becoming like real conscious of not just like society, but like how it affects us and who we are. And it's still a lot of people, of course, who really just don't, have like that access to self-reflection yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like, once you're tapped into that, like, you kind of understand yourself better. Like, why do I like the things that I like? Why do I do the things that I do? And you get a full picture of not just, how you are as a whole, but how it affects your love life. And people are really toxic. They really don't know where their trauma responses come from. A lot of the time they feel like, well, just because it's naturally happening, that it's okay. Yeah. And it's like, well, if you're, intentionally causing pain to other people because, hurt people, that's not a progressive. That's not okay. Like, you have to understand, like, toxic traits are things that negatively hold you back and hold other people back, So a lot of people, they don't self-reflect. And that's one thing I'm starting to, like, make sure I surround myself by. Like, I want to make sure everybody's around me that self-reflects and, like, I look at myself a lot. I'm very flawed. I just started looking at myself, though. Can't lie. Like, I'm a Sagittarius, so I don't care. Like, we got a real blunt mouth. We're real honest. We're going to say what we feel. So, I actually just started considering people's feelings about, like, things that I say and do, like, as of, like, a few years ago. So, just realizing, like, how much of an impact that has, like, just trying to adjust things for the people that I love around me. It's important. It's important. It does things for them. It helps lift them up. It lifts you up as a better person. And it's like, I don't know. I just find it interesting that a lot of people don't get to that point where they just, want to hone in to really understand themselves. Like, most people don't even know who they are. Yeah. And they're just hopping into relationships, seeking another person to, bring into their negativity. So I don't know. I think human brain is crazy to me.
Yes. Psychology is definitely crazy.
Yeah.
I do love that you have been working on your self growth. So have I.
Yeah.
I am a Capricorn,
Period.
so we right there.
Period.
But I definitely feel you on that self reflection piece, because, like, for me, I wouldn't say like I was necessarily harming other people, but sometimes my toxic trait was like my own self. I had struggles with, like, eating. I used to overeat. I used to be like almost 300 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Look at you.
I know. But, like, that was a toxic trait for me. I used to, like, run a food instead of, like, actually understanding or accepting my emotions and actually feeling it. So I definitely feel that, and I feel like that was a toxic trait of mine because I didn't know how to deal with my own emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I get that. Because everybody has, like, I feel like almost everybody has, like, some type of vice, some type of addiction, Yeah. I haven't ran into anyone yet that hasn't, but, like, typically, like, people that come off to me that, like, tell me, like, oh, I'm not addicted to anything. Yeah. Not saying that they're not. Like, sure, you might not be, but it's something that you gotta, like, really love, that you really, like, that's your go-to thing type of thing. And if you tell me nothing, it makes me sketchy about you. Like, it make me be like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be around you. Like, I like people who know what their vice is. So, addiction is definitely hard to deal with. I had an addiction as well. would rather not talk about it. But definitely love related. And I understand breaking out of that. Like, you really gotta shake a habit, and it's like you be wanting to throughout the process, but you really just gotta get to that point where it's like, all right, I'm gonna do something else. Like, this right here just ain't for me no more.
It wasn't working.
I'm glad you got out of that. I'm happy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
2:45 now, you know.
Okay, period.
Dropping it.
Baddie body, period. Let me see it.
But yeah, so I do want to just highlight that self reflection piece in general. Just take the time. Take 5 minutes, even if that's all you have all day, for all of us to just self reflect. What are some things that we want to see when receiving love? What are some things we know we need to work on that we might have a toxic trait for? So I do love that.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. And we also want to thank everyone for allowing us to be vulnerable and have this safe space and letting you open up to our podcast as well and our streaming. So that is also something I want to highlight. And sometimes this self growth piece, it could be on your own. You don't necessarily have to like open up to the whole world until you're ready about it. Because I know a lot of times that prevents folks from wanting to start their journey because they don't want people all in their business.
Judging and everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel that as well. But long as we take those moments to do it for ourselves, that's what's really important.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, ask yourself a list of questions if it even, it's hard for people to question what they don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if it's totally unknown to me, how can I even think to ask anything about it? If I could tell you right now, like, you know, Enomis, your house is on fire right now. Like, you know, I would just told you that. Your house is already burning. You don't know. There's nothing you can do about it, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, I feel like that's important. Just whenever you're going through something, especially with somebody you love, and then you got a reaction to it, try to self-reflect. Like, why do I react to things like this? Or why do I react to this specifically? Or why do I react this way? Why do I like, you know, the people that I like? You know, sometimes you have a type, you don't even know why you got a type. You know, like, you don't know that you're conditioned into liking this. Like, come on now. So it's like, just understand yourself as much as possible. Why you are the way you are. Why you like what you like. Why you don't like what you like. So on and so forth. Just start there. And it'll just, you know, snowball into a whole effect of just discovering yourself. So, good advice.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
well
sure.
needed.
And even better responses, okay?
Okay. Give me that.
Yes. So one other thing, we want to know, why do people get bored or maybe could get bored of healthy relationships without the toxicity or without the communication piece? And your thoughts on that?
That's interesting. I got a few thoughts because I feel like it's never one answer for anything.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like one reason could be maybe people are just used to toxic situations.
Which is real.
I know people personally who grown up with constant drama to where once they actually got with somebody who was like good for them and truly like cherished them, they were like, yeah, I can't appreciate this because I'm not used to this. I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's different and it's not fulfilling. And sometimes, you know, a lot of people associate their trauma to things that are pleasurable to them, if that makes sense. Like, maybe, you know, maybe you've had violence a lot in your childhood, but then, you know, you incorporate violence in your adult sex life or something of that matter. Just a small example, but I feel like that's where that connection is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love that. And for like me, I would say sometimes people may get bored of it because, like you said, they might have been used to drama or toxicity.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks just want to sit in their poop.
Yeah. I like that.
But sometimes they don't want to like motivate themselves to do better as well. So like prime example, I'll give you a story. I'm gonna say Tim and Sarah.
Okay.
Tim and
Okay,
Sarah.
Sarah.
So Tim and Sarah was in a relationship, right?
um.
And one person, so Sarah was brought up with like a two household married couple for their
Mhm.
father and dad.
Mhm.
Now Tim, on the other hand,
He
maybe
on the
didn't.
other side.
Yeah, maybe didn't grow up with so many positive role model or parental like figures,
Yeah.
if I might say.
Mhm.
So honestly, they didn't even know how to like show love or maybe be a
Mhm.
gentleman, right?
Yeah.
So Sarah grew up seeing firsthand, father being gentleman, open doors, taking care of a bill,
Mhm.
whatnot, or just making sure that it was an emotional open space,
Mhm.
for conversation and um, was able to express opinion without it being argumentative, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So growing up in that dynamic where it was open and not necessarily normal,
Yeah.
but more so, I don't know, routinely
Mhm.
happening. Um, as Sarah grew up, she just thought that was something that everyone did.
Yeah.
Tim, on the other hand, never seen that. You know,
Yeah.
brought up in a household that maybe mother didn't get flowers
Right.
every Sunday,
Right.
right? Or he didn't know to open a door, or maybe thought that was too much for a lady to get in a car.
Yeah.
So sometimes having or and then also not having the space to express his emotions.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was more so like shot down in his family,
Mhm.
like throw it under the rug,
Yeah.
type of thing, or bottle it up.
Mhm.
Um, it causes a lot of, I guess, not necessarily toxic traits, but tension.
Yeah.
Because their love languages were different.
Yeah. It definitely was.
Yeah. So for Tim, that was kind of boring relationship.
Yeah. I get that. Right. He's like,
Yeah.
stability. What is this? Like, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
You didn't have those examples. It's like when you don't see it, how do you know it even exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have that comparison to know, like, oh, I got options to do things another way.
Yeah.
So I totally get that too. That's a perfect another reason for sure. People don't have those examples in a household.
Yeah.
They don't have those around them in their community, so they just kind of grow up with what they
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, you know, we have a lot in our community as well that's like honed in on like, well, I'm not gonna say it's like everywhere, but
Yeah.
it's a small section that's pretty big that believes, that we're just out here living for the day, they don't really care, everybody having a hot girl summer
Yeah.
or, the guys out here wilding, so everybody just kind of like living their best life, and I think they want somebody to just be like in house for them,
Mm-hmm.
but the same person might also bore people. I can understand that as well. Like you can love somebody and still cheat on them. Like I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a thing.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe you want to explore more, or maybe you just got caught on to the fact that you got more options. Maybe you just now getting attractive or something, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It could be so many reasons as to why somebody gets bored with a stationary relationship.
Mm-hmm.
um Even if you switch it up and have fun and y'all the best of friends, it
Yeah.
it could literally just be a soul packed off of you're just the same person, like
Yeah.
sometimes it could just be that. So I think it's interesting. I've had those moments before where it was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
like, but of course that was in my younger days. I'm
Yeah.
happy now,
Okay.
so
And we
period.
love that.
Period, we do.
We love that. Also, that ties us right into the next and final topic. How we grow up. How does that impact how we see and show love to ourselves and to others around us?
Our upbringing is truly important. I feel like my upbringing is what made my love language even exist.
Yeah.
I had a pretty much a typical upbringing. single mom. There's three of us in a house, no dad, of course. So we kind of were just like on our own, winging it. Um, but my mom did the best she could, and with her not being able to spend a lot of time with us sometimes, she always made sure we were good though. So acts of service and gifts are my love language, specifically because of my mother. Hey, mama. And yeah, that's my girl. She always comes through. It's like she'll make something out of nothing. She always responds with a solution. So I feel like that upbringing is, I place all of that in my relationships, and sometimes it's a problem. Like sometimes men don't want you to, do too much. They want you to just fall back and just do you and be happy.
Yeah.
So I gotta cut back on that a little bit. But other than that, I feel like it's been solid because of what she instilled in me. And I feel like those actions that she did for me is what I do for others and what I want my man to do for me. So, yeah.
We love you, mommy.
Love you, mom.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I can totally relate.
Mhm.
So like for my mom, she worked a lot too.
Yeah.
My mom was always a blue collar lady, entrepreneur. So she was always out at house.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that kind of poured into like me, I guess, being more open to physical touch.
Mhm.
And then also acts of service too, because just having a partner to be around, to talk to hug, I don't know. It's something so special to me about that because it was always busy, or
Yeah.
even if she was home, maybe filing paperwork, doing whatever, got to clean, cook.
That's why you like this now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. But yeah, so like that definitely tied into the reason or how I express love to others, and also how I like to be loved as well with the love languages. And then I'm not gonna lie, it's been times where like I've seen toxic traits growing up too. But it was because like I had alcoholism in my family. So sometimes that could show in toxic traits because someone's under the influence, they might be belligerent or more to themselves or a little bit more aggressive. So that was kind of hard for me to unlearn the trauma behind that, to understanding that that's not something normal.
Yeah.
And sometimes verbal abuse can play an impact of that as well.
For sure.
So it kind of made me grow up after becoming an adult to unlearning that that's something that I don't look for in a partner now.
Yeah.
Because I have that experience. But then like how it impacts how I love myself as well, it reflects because my mom, she was always a go-getter.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So we got to get to it no matter what. Like, and I feel like people, I'm not saying no shade to no other signs, but I don't know. People that I know that's Sagittarius and Capricorn, listen, they get to it, honey. They can't not do it. Like, we're real independent. And then when we grew up the way we grew up, like when you have moms like we do, it's like you kind of naturally feel like,
hustle.
And then I'm not the type to like complain about things that I want. I just like go get it. Like I just gotta figure out a way to go get it. Like, you know what I mean? So I totally feel you. Bang. My nails ain't done, but bang.
No, I feel. Not yet.
Period.
Okay. Be on the lookout.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely feel that. So like, just to backtrack, how that implemented in my self-love journey. Yeah, I was always a go-getter too, but like I always had big dreams. So it was like, it's kind of love to myself to be able to figure out what I like to do, how I like to give back to my community. I'm an organizer. I like connecting people, networking with people. That's like part of my self-love because I feel my identity and my confidence grow with my career.
Yeah.
So that was like a big piece for me as a woman in like adulthood, just understanding that it is possible and when I am given those opportunities to do so, it is self love for me because now I can appreciate all the hard work I was doing for myself,
Mhm.
and then just having that moment to like celebrate myself.
Mhm.
Um, so I definitely feel that.
I love that.
Yeah,
No, I totally get that.
and
It makes sure it pours into you. You celebrate yourself on a regular basis. I'm
yeah,
serious on birthdays. I actually do kind of the opposite. Like I network when I have to, and I let that little Aquarius rise and seep out of me a little bit. But
yeah,
ultimately, I stay to myself to self love a lot of the time because I'm like I really enjoy who I am, and I know I
yes.
can't be 100% me all the time everywhere else and with anyone else. So
Hmm.
I love being to myself, honing in on my music, so on and so forth. Like, yeah, I feel you. We in our good phase right now, y'all.
Yes. And with that being said, we're gonna give you a snippet of our upcoming song. Go check that out. And again, thank you, Yo Shorty, for
Thank you,
coming to our
babe.
class
I
consciousness.
appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
Of
Until
course.
next time, peace out.
Yes. Now, this podcast was brought to you by Drop the Mic Media, MKE.